How's it going, everyone? It's Mike here with ROF Airsmithing, and today I have a special marker that I want to share with all of you. As you may know, I've recently started doing some more restoration type videos on my channel. I've got my Italian flag Nexus Ego that I'm in the process of restoring, and I'm excited to share that process with all of you. But I have a marker here today that I want to share. It's a really cool build that I did. Actually my first Autococker build, and this is a restoration that's already done, but I just want to share it with you. It's a cool marker, but I also want to share the level of restoration that I like to perform. So without further ado, this here is my Eclipse Pro Autococker. Okay, I believe it came out around 2003 or 2004. I'm a little iffy on the exact date. Not to be confused with an Eclipse Pro Autococker. These are identifiable by the front block, which, do I have a front block here? I thought I had an example front block here on my workbench. I don't. Apologize for that, but at any rate, it has a front block as opposed to an integrated front block like an FT1 or Nexus Signature Series or DC1, DC2 Autococker. The major difference, as far as I could tell, between the Pro and the Pro Plus is that the Pro Plus has a frame, an Eclipse E1 frame that is anodized to match the body. That's basically it. The front pneumatics are chrome or nickel plated, as is the HPR on a Pro Plus. Okay, so performance-wise, I believe they are the same. So this marker has a little bit of a story, and it actually starts before I received the marker. So as many of you may or may not know, I'm actually a car fanatic, as well as paintball markers. And I was at a car swap meet, an English town spring swap meet in I want to say it was either 2010 or 11. I can't remember. All these years later, and I was at this car swap meet, looking around, and I'm a Pontiac guy, so I'm looking around. Didn't really see anything that I really needed or wanted. Not a lot of Pontiac parts to choose from, and I saw this one guy. He was wearing a paintball shirt. I don't remember if it was a dye t-shirt or something, but he was wearing something that indicated, hey, that guy knows about paintball. Otherwise, he wouldn't be wearing that shirt. Or so I thought. So I walked up to him, struck up a conversation. He was there. He had a table full of car parts, and I asked him about his shirt. And we got into talking about paintball. At this point, I had been out of paintball. I stopped in around December of 2008. So I was out of the sport for, maybe 2-3 years at that point. And he said, hey, hang on a second. I have something you may be interested in. And he pulled out, I don't have it in front of me because I sold it last year, but he pulled out a red, white, and blue anodized Black Magic Autococker, an 02 or 03 Black Magic Autococker. It was really cool. I thought the anodizing was super unique, and it had these Eclipse pneumatics, an Eclipse Ram and Dart LPR, but in black. And it also had a chrome E1 E-blade frame on it. And I can't remember, he may have also had an Eclipse hinge trigger frame or die hinge trigger frame. I don't know. If it was the die, I sold it last year. I'm sorry, I sold it in 2013. If it was the Eclipse frame, I sold it last year. So I don't recall if it came with one of those trigger frames or not. I think it did, which means that the story of this Autococker build would have been even sweeter than I remember. But anyhow, I bought this Autococker. I want to say he gave it to me for like $150. It wasn't working. He said it needed a rebuild. It needed all these things. But I really just bought it because I thought it was such a cool anodizing. I hadn't seen that before. In fact, I hadn't seen many Black Magics before. And so I bought this thing, again, a couple years after I left the sport of paintball. And figuring, you know, one day I had Autocockers back in the past, and I figured one day, you know, maybe I'll rebuild this thing and get it working, and it would be a really cool shooting marker. Not to mention the anodizing was cool. Fast forward to 2013, I came back into the sport for, I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 months, something like that, before I left, and then came back again last year in 2020. But I left, or I came back to the sport, and I acquired a couple markers. I got my Pink Lady SL94. I got my 09 Excessive Ego and 09 Excessive Geo. What else did I get? I got my Eclipse Impulse. I'm just looking at my wall here to see, you know, just got a bunch of cool markers. Got my American Flag Nexus Ego that year and so forth. And this is one of the markers that I had acquired. I bought this from a guy in the UK for $350. It took forever to get through customs. I think I was waiting for it for about 9 months or so. Extremely annoyed. And I remember this is the original, not this in particular, but this is the original, what the original RAM would have been. And I remember when it came in the mail, again, 9 months I waited for it. When it came in the mail, the box had a hole in it. It was all crumbled and crushed. There was hardly any packing material in it. And I remember that the RAM had broken off, and these threads from the RAM were stuck in the front block. So, you know, I received the marker. I was never able to shoot it or anything like that. I did reach back out to the guy asking for a full refund, and I would ship the marker back to him at his expense, or I wanted some kind of discount. He did something with the insurance and everything through the shipping company, and he was able to get me $100 back, figuring, you know, the RAM isn't going to be $100 to replace, so I guess I was okay with it. So I kept the marker, basically getting it for $250 was my cost. And, you know, and that was that, pretty much. So the way I originally remember that story, going back to the Black Magic, I bought the Black Magic for $250, but I think I actually got it for $150. So let's just say hypothetically I got it for $250. So I get this marker for $350 minus $100 for shipping. So I'm at $250 for this marker, plus $250 for the Black Magic, right? So all in all, I'm into both of these Autocockers for $500. Well, last year, when I got back into the sport, I said, you know what? I've had this awesome Eclipse Autococker for 7 years, and all I've done is look at it, and it's about darn time that I get the thing running. And so I began my first ever restoration. I'd never built any Autococker. I've owned a couple, but I've never rebuilt an Autococker prior to this one here. So I set out on the process of restoring it and looking for parts. What I ended up doing, again, a reminder, I'm going to repeat myself quite a lot here to, you know, to highlight the process, but I'm in this marker and the Black Magic that I had for $500. I sold the body, the red, white, and blue anodized body of the Black Magic for $150, bringing my total cost down to $350. Then I went ahead and I sold the the E-blade on the Blackmagic, because this is the original E-blade to this marker. It even has, I don't know if you can see here, it's got the the sticker and everything on the frame. I sold that E-blade setup for another $150, bringing my total cost down to $200. Maybe it was $150. I got the, yeah, okay. I bought that Blackmagic for $150. So $250 for this after the shipping fiasco, $250 for this, $150 for the Blackmagic. I was into both of them for $400. That's it. I was into both of them for $400. Sold the body for $150. Sold the frame E-blade for $150. So my total cost now, I'm into this for $100. The black Eclipse pneumatics that I had from the Blackmagic, I was able to find a guy who wanted black, and he had a set of chrome pneumatics, so we traded. That was an even trade. So I shipped him my pneumatics, he shipped me his. So really I was able to get this marker fully. I rebuilt it, bought O-rings and everything, rebuilt the marker, all the internals, received the pneumatics in the mail, rebuilt these. This is the original LPR, Sledgehammer LPR, and the rammer was broken, so I found a replacement here. I think this was $40. So I do have the original stuff, and I could always go back to stock because I do like my original, I do like my restorations to be original and complete. However, this one, just did these tasteful upgrades, but I could always go back to stock very easily. So again, I'm into this thing for now $100. Got the chrome pneumatics, rebuilt everything, and got the marker shooting really cool, really nice. And then I had purchased a 05 Ego ASA and rail for another $70, and I traded that to a guy for the chrome setup here, because this matches the marker better. The chrome is, I don't want to say it's insanely rare, but it's fairly difficult to find, especially in this condition here, and I think it just completes the marker really, really nicely. Rebuilt the HPR. It's the first autococker I ever rebuilt, first autococker that I ever tuned on my own, and it's just a really, really nice shooter. The only issue with it is it's so nice. There's not a scratch on the body. There's a slight mark here. You're not going to be able to see it on camera. Yeah, you're not going to see it on camera, but there's a small, tiny mark on the feed neck, and then there's a small, again, you might not even see it on camera, a small mark on the barrel. I am told that the Caner barrel is pretty rare on these. A lot of them had dye ultralight barrel or an Eclipse barrel or some other barrel. They had Eclipse back then basically used whatever barrels they had laying around. They anodized to go with the marker, and then that's what you got. Oh, there's the mark I was looking for on the barrel, so you can see that on the camera. So overall it's in awesome condition. I don't want the chrome to start peeling or chipping on me, and I don't want to damage the body or anything. So for now I just kind of take it out in the backyard, I shoot it, take it to the field, let my buddies shoot it and everything, just to see what it's like to shoot a really, really awesome and finely tuned autococker. But yeah, this is one of the prides of my collection here. My total investment into this marker, as you see it here, is $170, is what I ended up negotiating for parts and getting everything down to, and selling boards and everything like that. And then I did spend another $40 on an original rim to replace the damaged one. So figure I'm into it for $210, to have the marker as you see it here, plus the original pneumatics here, so that I could always go back to stock. And I don't anticipate selling this marker, but if I ever do, I could always offer it with the original pneumatics, so that someone has the option to go all original, or have a sweet, nicely tuned marker with the upgraded Eclipse pneumatics, which just really set off the build here. So again, just a neat marker. It's a restoration that's already finished, so unfortunately you don't get to follow me with me through the process, but this is the level of restoration and quality that I like to do. I like everything to be complete working order, in as best shape as possible when I'm finished with it. So yeah, I'm excited to share that one with you, and thanks for watching. If you want to see some more Eclipse stuff, marker builds, restorations, shooting videos, and so forth, feel free to subscribe or hit the notification bell, and I look forward to sharing more of these stories and these awesome pieces of Planet Eclipse history with you all.